The United Nations Human Rights Council has re-elected Ahmed Shahid, the Special Rapporteur for Human Rights in Iran, for another year. This is the third year in which Ahmed Shahid will be working with human rights in Iran. Ali Reza Roshan and Mustafa Abdi are activists in protecting the rights of dervishes and personnel of the Majzoubane-Noor website. Since the 21st of March 2013, these two dervishes have gone on hunger strike in order to protest against the inhumane conditions, violence and abusive behaviour of certain security sections of Evin prison, in which some lawyers have been imprisoned. They are requesting for these prisoners to be put back into Section 350 of Evin prison and to have their health conditions checked. During the past week, Bar Association of America wrote a letter to Ayatollah Khamenei, leader of the Islamic Republic of Iran, expressing their concerns about Abdul Fattah Soltani, a lawyer who has been imprisoned for the following reasons: propaganda against the Islamic Republic of Iran, forming a campaign for defending human rights, forming a community and planning against the Islamic Republic of Iran, and owning unacceptable wealth. He is accused of being able to do these activities through winning the Nuremberg Human Rights Award. 6 Khuzestan prisoners, of which 5 have been sentenced to death by hanging and 1 sentenced to 20 years imprisonment, have gone on hunger strike to protest against the rulings and the way their case is being handled. They have stated they want the world to hear their voices and wonder why prisoners are being tortured. Ahmed Shahid, the UN Special Rapporteur for Human Rights in Iran, in his report regarding the critical conditions of religious minorities, has indicated that roughly 100 Iranian Baha'i citizens are in prisons, and the number is increasing. Sunni Muslims, Christians and Dervishes are all facing discriminations and harassments. Furthermore, in mid-2010, more than 300 Christians were arrested. On Tuesday the 26th of March, Shirin Ebadi, the Nobel Peace Prize holder, in a letter to Ahmed Shahid, the UN Special Rapporteur for Human Rights in Iran, requested his attention of the problem of hunger strike of the imprisoned Gonabadi dervishes. The continuous hunger strike of Kasra Nouri and Saleh Moradi, the imprisoned dervishes in Adel Abad, Shiraz, has caused the multinational media CNN to take urgent action and demand justice and fairness, and led them to highlight the support of the general public's opinion regarding the dire circumstances of the dervishes around the world. Amnesty International, on Tuesday the 26th of March, in a statement referring to the hunger strike of 5 Iranian Arabs in Karun prison, has asked the people of the world to send letters to the Iranian authorities, requesting to stop these executions and abuses, and furthermore make medical facilities more readily available. Following the gathering of dervishes outside the Adel Abad prison on Wednesday the 27th of March, security and intelligence forces threatened and intimidated the 2 dervish hunger strikers, Saleh Moradi and Kasra Nouri, by force-feeding them with a piece of bread and videoing the event as proof. Following this, Ahmadi, the head of the Fars province prison, confronted the crowd outside the prison and requested the dispersing of the demonstrators by promising to provide the necessary attention to the physical conditions of the 2 dervishes. During the month of March, Mrs. Shirin Ebadi, a Nobel Peace Prize winner and human rights activist defender, began her report by considering the behaviour of the Iranian government towards the United Nations Human Rights Council meetings. Mrs. Ebadi, in her report, assessed the behaviour of Mr. Mohammad Javad Larijani, as a representative of human rights in Iran, as non-diplomatic and rude. She also requested for the Iranian government to nominate a more polite and suitable person in his place. An organisation linked to the United Nations has announced that the arrest and imprisonment of Mr. Mohammad Sadiq Kabudvand, who is the head of the Human Rights Organisation for Kurdistan, was decided illegally without any given reason. Mr. Abdul Karim Lahiji, who is the Vice President of the International Federation for Human Rights in Iran, in relation to the extension of Mr. Ahmed Shahid's activities, stated that the continuation of the United Nations Rapporteur's mission for victims of human rights violations, their families, and even ourselves, is the only way to pressurize the authorities to stop its policy of repression. He acknowledged that the law of execution is too lenient, and by referring to the continuous underage execution, indicated that execution not only applies to general crimes, but also includes drug trafficking, harassment, and assault. In reference to the imprisoned human rights activists, he added, "Iran is one of the biggest prisons of human rights activists in the world."
Kasra Moradi and Saleh Moradi, the dervishes in Adalabad prison in city of Shiraz, after 64 days of refusing to eat, extended their hunger strike for an additional 5 days, including refraining to intake of all liquids. Furthermore, Kasra Nouri on Monday the 25th of March fainted due to severe weakness and was transferred to the prison clinic by the prison officers. On Monday the 18th of March, 2 Baha'i citizens, Mona Amir Hasari and Rufio Pakzadegan, were arrested and after arraignment were transferred to Gorgan prison by the order of Mehraban, the judge on this case. During the past week, 160 religious political Baluchis and Kurdish prisoners in the Section 4 of the Rajai prison in city of Karaj announced 3 days of general hunger strike. The security forces have charged these prisoners with insulting the Quran.
According to recent reports, Mr. Qais Rasul Morovat, a Kurdish political prisoner and student activist, is said to have been transferred to the city of Urumia last week. His family have no information on his current location.
On Sunday the 24th of March, the Evin prison authorities stopped the transfer of Mansour Naghipour to hospital because he refused to wear the prison outfit. Mansour Naghipour, who is a political journalist, has been suffering from tooth and gum disease due to lack of vitamins, and as a result, he is unable to eat. On the 19th of March, Kayvan Samimi, a national religious activist in Evin prison, was denied medicine for his medical condition by the Evin prison authorities, despite them having previously authorized the medicine. Also, the ongoing request for Kayvan Samimi's temporary leave has been denied. On Monday, the 18th of March, the security guards of Evin prison entered and searched the political section of 350 and the political section of women's prison. On the 25th of March, Mrs. Monawwar Hashemi, the mother of Majid Duri, a student and a political prisoner, said that she is very worried about the state of her son's health condition. On the 25th of March, Ali Reza Karami Khair Abadi, currently serving a life sentence in prison, was transferred to hospital outside of the Rajai Shar prison in Karaj due to brain damage. The prison doctors had previously ordered his transfer, however, the prison authorities had delayed taking him to the hospital. 2 Kurdish journalists, Khosrow Kurdpur and Masoud Kurdpur, the director of Mokrian news agency, were arrested on the 7th and the 9th of March by the Moharab intelligence service. Despite the fact their families have been questioning the Iranian Revolutionary Court, there was no information given about their location and condition. According to reports, on the 25th of March, Karami Khairabadi, who was accused of hijacking an airplane and imprisoned in Rajai Shar prison in city of Karaj, was transferred to hospital in Tehran due to an emergency situation. Karami Khairabadi has been diagnosed with meningitis and is now in coma. Mehdi Khazali, a political prisoner in Iran who has been on hunger strike for more than 80 days, is suffering from severe low blood pressure and weight loss. He is extremely weak physically and his heart rate has decreased.